Right. Um, Dozens of LA sheriffs, deputies are tattooed members of law enforcement gangs. Right. I call them blue mafia. These little weird Mormon kids and little Satan kids. When they're under 18, these cops blackmail into a dark web with them. They're the ones that do all the pedo stealing. They're the ones that have access to the tech equipment and shit. They're the ones that fuck with the microphones. Oh yeah, they have these people here. They do. They're the ones that hijack YouTube. So, executioners and banditos. Right, so executioners. Kind of like people that shoot people 17 times in Pasco, Washington. And banditos, like nice Mexican guys that work in the Benton County Jail. And that most of them have tattoos. Essentially they're like super paranoid. When I said that you have to like speak with these stupid ass like church kids that are Satanists and shit. That's because those cops are super paranoid. They essentially like most of the time, like here's kind of the structure of it. Basically, these kids are the ones that blackmail with cops. Sometimes there'll be high school students that gang bang with cops. So the Mormony usually has a sister, and then like this Amazon call center, they lure in people online to fuck their sister, and then essentially they lord over them, and then the cops tell them what to do, and then they tell the people they blackmail with their sister what to do. These are basically the same. These ones usually do the Mormon ones usually do sex. These ones usually do pedophilia. They do brothels. And these ones, they run female prostitution and drugs. See, when people started figuring this out, then they have a blackmail system. Essentially, they were using existing blackmail systems. They pissed off everyone. Everybody started outing all their stuff. And so then they ran off and got an Islamic terror drug system. See, they have a gang, but they're not part of a gang. This is white supremacy gang. I mean, essentially, they have like a Mexican gang system, and they have like a black people gang system. So the whole idea is the black people gang system comes in a couple of ways. Suge Knight system, basically. And then there's fuck clubbing to the top Islamic terrorist system. And so, essentially, Bloods and Crips are like Suge Knight system. And that those people, you're either in their gang, and if you start your own, then you're a rival. So, the black guy fuck clubbing to the top shit, those are just autonomous, like, neighborhood gangs, basically. They are not really affiliated with anything. They run autonomously like a cell. That is an ISIS drug system. So, you might notice some imagery. So, these people essentially are sociopaths that start whole voyeur exploitation systems on all their victims. And that, yeah, then they terrorize people in speakers. Then they get people to commit murder and suicide. And then they film the whole process. And then they make a shit ton of money off of it. They're the same ones that like to sit around and find a couple that loves each other just to be forcing the woman through blackmailing to be fucking a bunch of cops, and then to be exposing it to their husband or boyfriend, and then for the boyfriend to go crazy and to shoot the woman and then to shoot himself. They're the ones that do that. They're the ones that came up with this whole like citizen CIA shit. They're the ones that came up with this whole like having to speak pettily perfectly about stuff or it gets disregarded. They're the ones that everybody pays for inoculation. They're the ones that filter all the stuff that they're taking little online contracts on. They're the ones that place people in detective investigations. They're the ones that prevent people from around here from investigating a terror plot that I found. They're the ones that prevent like an investigation of a child trafficking ring. They're the ones that I call fuck truckers. They're the ones that I call like getting breakfasts and coffees for free on a fuck card. They're the ones that force women to have sex with anybody. They're the ones that take mercenary contracts with Mormon temples. They're the ones that compile blackmails and sell that stuff to Republicans to force people to vote. Basically, they're the ones that got tricked into Ready Player's stupid fucking pedophilia by somebody who fucking tricked them. They call it Archer. See, those stupid fucking people got into an Islamic terrorist system. You know, I've known about stupid fucking pedo pig gang. Pedos. For a lot longer than anybody would ever realize. They're the ones that pinch little boys' penises at a prayer tree. See, bitch system all of a sudden turned into cuck system. In like the bust of the Silk Road. See, they were using the Silk Road And so they are law enforcement that knew it was being busted, and they ran off to an Islamic terrorist system instead of being busted on it. The whole idea is that the people that were on Silk Road when they busted it, nobody likes cops. They were gonna be, see, the Silk Road also knew that it was gonna be busted, and they were gonna be just left out there openly for the government to bust. The only option for somebody, see, they had already been using the Silk Road. They had already pissed off the white supremacists. They had already pissed off the Mexicans. They had already pissed off the regular black gang people. They had already been pissed off the Asian people and shit. And so essentially they were using Silk Road because essentially the bros and the rest of the people that were on it, basically those people were just being slaves and doing all the stuff on it. And that's what happens. Everybody becomes a slave. And so it's like, essentially on the Silk Road, all the cops were on there and nobody cared because they were being the slaves that was making the whole group fund money. So all the other ones were gangs, gang systems basically. And so they don't trust cops running those operations, okay? They would buy inoculation services, but beyond that, maybe like some looking the other way on a known trafficking route, inoculation. That's what all the other gangs were using those cops for. They weren't really able to do much until they got on Silk Road. And when the government started to try and bust Silk Road, that was known based on being a part of law enforcement. And so before it was busted, they facilitated getting onto an Islamic terror drug system. And so since then, essentially, the executioners, who are like sadists and kind of sociopathic, and then the banditos, the ones that I researched, they're decently nice human beings, seemingly. They're masochists. So the ones that are like nice-ish, they're the ones that are, essentially these people are like, this is like the attack group. These women are the ones that they like come in and raping and shit. See, these women get terrorized by these executioners. Then these seemingly nice people, they end up like psychoping them into blackmailing into silence. And pedophilia. Okay? So those people, they're the ones that like do pedo sealing. They're the ones that like to make people believe that they control people's brains. They're the ones that came up with some idea of fucking with people and then claiming that that is how they get the information out of their little secret agency and shit. Yeah, a secret Islamic terrorist cell organization. That is what they're part of. They don't say anything. They hide that shit all the fucking time. And then when people start narking it off, then they attempt to get people to believe that they control their brain. I mean, this is how retarded these dumb kids get. And so right now, essentially that structure, all those cops are freaking out. And then these people are getting into these cop pedophile systems. And then they're sitting there thinking that some sort of belief in people controlling people's brains that they sit around being psychotic into. And then they sit around terrorizing people and speakers into being silent about this. Essentially, articles like this, articles like this, will basically have the whole West Coast infrastructure of cop mafia freaking out. Okay, the main one comes out of LA. They're kind of the main leaders cell. And that essentially Vegas is another place. And then pretty much every single city. And so it's not just LA. It's just in LA. It's difficult for those people to operate online because shit tons of the tech world is there. Shit tons of hackers are there. And that pretty much when it comes to the world that looks the other way, LA just kind of does it. And so then these sheriffs and shit, they get put under increasing pressure. What they end up seeing is these cop gangs increasingly becoming people controlling the drugs and prostitution and anything that they would be doing on Silk Roads. Okay? That is where these little stupid Mormon kids and stupid little church kids that are all pedophiles, they have been operating blatantly being pedophiles for so many years. They have been given computer access to anybody with speakers for so many years. They have sat around torturing people to death and to suicide with cops for so many years. They're the ones that sit there like a bunch of sociopaths with Mormon temples. Essentially, here's how it operates. Right now, Mormon temple will be on some delusion of being the citizen investigator. They'll be going around torturing people and speakers. Some of them will probably even claim to be torturing people and speakers into divulging information. And that then they're used to doing this. This will be Twilight and Mormon Twilight. Mormon Temple is Mormon Twilight. Twilight is these Red Dawn freaks. See, right now, the Mormon Temple will think that they're like they'll think that they're supposed to be fuck clubbing out or something. They are just placed there because these cops build back and forth. These are considered Mormon cops. The banditos. They fuck Mexican, like, fundy kids that they traffic all up and down the West. These people usually, like, fuck somebody's Mormon wife. And then the Mormon husband likes to sit and jack off to it and shit. The executioners. They optimize. They make snuff films. They make pedo porns. They essentially, they're just fearful of running drugs. They won't usually run drugs. So basically, so those people is where they get other people. They slave women. They find tattooed like bikery, younger millennial bikery kind of guys, greasy, the the haircut dudes, basically those kind of dudes. The ones that do the razor blade side and have the slick like oil can boy hair kind of. They usually force those dudes to run the drugs. The ones that have tats all over their body, piercings and shit. They usually they usually force those dudes to run the drugs. So now that you people in this town have spent so many years fucking with me because I've been narking off your guys' stupid little pedophiles. Mormon Temple, you're a part of that shit too. See, they sit there acting like there's some sort of battle in 50. What's that? You guys are members of 50? Bitch and cuck. 50 is bitch. Executioners. Cuck is bitch 50. Bitch 50. That is Mormons. Those are the banditos, and that they're controlled by a Mormon temple and these little stupid little kids. They're essentially these little Satanies. They kind of interface with 50. And then these little Mormon kids, they interface with negative 50. And so these ones think that they live in the CIA and shit. So they all thought that they could like sit around torturing people to death into silence about their fucking gangs. Right? Yeah, oh yeah. Gruff the crime dog, right? And that basically, these kids are like, they have these like, you know, there's people in high school that find out about this. And that then these fucking kids, these little fucking little terrorist little Mormon-y kids and shit. And see, everybody sat around calling these kids that would sometimes freak out and say they were involved with online terrorists, with cops and shit. And then everybody would call them fucking crazy. And then they were forced to do more. And then they were forced to do more and more and more and more and more. Because nobody would fucking investigate. And I did. See, bitch. Since you people use the dark web that I monitor, I wait around for the government to bust these things. But if nobody does, when a bunch of fucking whiny little stupid little church kids start claiming that stuff, they don't just magically think that stuff. See, little stupid church kids think, hey, Dad, Jesus Bibles. They don't know anything about online. They don't know anything about dark webs. So when stupid little church kids start claiming stuff that actually exists, dumb went and got stuck in pedal banger to the top. I know that. What these kids were saying is exactly like what a bunch of dumb military guys used to go around trying to fuck up people's shit. Okay? And they got stuck. See, dumb was busy running guns on Silk Road. They didn't know it was Islamic terrorism. They didn't want to get busted. Oh my God, so gross being busted, kind of, yeah. And then they got into the black people's buck club into the top system. And then it turned out to be an Islamic terror drug system. And so these kids are the same. This system, you people just have grayed out profiles. You guys are all in this system. These people are gonna act, yeah. In the end, these little stupid little fucking E-free kids and shit, they're gonna act like they fucking had to wear. See, stupid little fucking pedophiles. Behind this bitch block is Prairie. What you little stupid little Satany little cactus Buddhas down there in Vegas, little cactus Buddhas, down with their rainbow gathering down in Summerlin, they have like factions at the rainbow gathering. And so in the Red Rock area, they have like this big rock. And then a couple of them. And then they have this like area that has cactuses. And then they have like another rock over here. These are like where these little sick little freaks kill and are Satanists and the grossest fucking Satanists ever. And they seem to think that what they do to scare high school kids, they seem to think that I would be afraid of that shit. See, stupid little pedophiles. Once they go to church, I know that you can just tell their daddy what they're doing. And then they'll get beat in their stupid little fucking face. And then there won't be nothing. Basically. Because these are real full-blown psychopaths. They kill little children out of these little... It's like the Mormons and these little E-free groups started showing up to these rainbow gatherings and doing like full-blown Satanist rituals. So, those are the ones. That's what it takes to be... See, essentially cops just have no fucking clue. See, the years of you guys refusing to investigate the information that I have and other people and shit. You guys literally refuse to investigate stuff that has thousands of disregarded tips in the FBI tip line. Autonomous people all saying the same shit. Many people realize what that means.